As soon as ITV News posted about William and Kate joining community stars and celebrities for a Christmas carol service, it became immediately clear that the engagement on the post was, frankly, disastrous. You would expect that any update featuring the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge would attract at least some excitement, but the reality is painfully different. The public's reaction, or lack thereof, was so underwhelming that ITV News decided to turn off the view count entirely. That's right, the very network that usually prides itself on showcasing high-profile events suddenly hid the metrics, presumably to cover up the embarrassment. The truth is simple. People just aren't interested anymore, and attempts to manufacture enthusiasm are failing spectacularly. It's almost comical to watch the royal PR machine in action, scrambling to salvage a post that clearly flopped from the start. The problem with this Christmas carol service post is that it represents a broader pattern of irrelevance when it comes to William and Kate's public appearances. Over the years, their events have started to feel increasingly staged, predictable, and disconnected from what the public actually cares about. Attending a community carol service should be a wholesome, endearing moment that resonates with audiences, yet the engagement tells a different story. People are scrolling past without a second thought, leaving the royals and their PR teams scrambling to find ways to generate fake excitement. Turning off the view count is just the latest example of how out of touch this royal duo has become. It's a move that screams, "We know this is a flop, so let's hide the numbers before anyone notices." But the irony is that this attempt to cover embarrassment actually draws even more attention to the failure. It's not difficult to see why the public is disengaged. William and Kate have been consistently overshadowed by other figures who manage to capture genuine interest. In the past few years, Meghan Sussex, for example, has repeatedly generated massive public and media engagement with every appearance and project. By contrast, William and Kate's carefully choreographed events feel hollow, lacking the charisma and relatability that truly draw people in. The Christmas carol service should have been a warm, festive occasion that showcased their community involvement, yet the post's poor engagement exposes the emptiness of these royal displays. People no longer care to interact because it's clear that the events are more about optics than genuine connection. The way ITV handled this is almost as telling as the flop itself. Hiding view counts is a subtle form of damage control, a tactic used to protect the image of the royals. It's a clear admission that the post failed to meet expectations. Social media metrics are an honest reflection of public interest, and when those metrics are poor, no amount of fancy photography or carefully crafted captions can change the reality. By turning off engagement stats, ITV News is essentially trying to sweep the failure under the rug, but the public sees right through it. In the age of digital transparency, attempts to hide numbers only make the failure more obvious. It's almost as if the royals and their media allies are out of ideas, desperately clinging to old strategies that no longer work. Another layer to this flop is the contrast between the image William and Kate want to project and how the public actually perceives them. The carol service is meant to portray them as community-focused, compassionate figures who genuinely care about public service. Yet, the poor engagement indicates a disconnect. The audience isn't buying it anymore. They see staged appearances, carefully orchestrated photo ops and scripted speeches, but they don't feel authenticity. In a world where audiences crave genuine connection and relatability, William and Kate's polished image simply doesn't resonate. People can sense the artificiality, and that's reflected in the lack of likes, comments, and shares. Engagement is the modern currency of relevance, and right now, this royal duo is bankrupt. It's also worth noting that this isn't an isolated incident. There has been a consistent decline in engagement across various royal posts, particularly those featuring William and Kate. Each public appearance is met with diminishing enthusiasm, signalling a shift in public sentiment. The fact that ITV News felt compelled to disable view counts shows an acute awareness of this trend. It's almost laughable. The more the royals try to assert their relevance through social media, the more obvious it becomes that they are struggling to connect. The flop of the Christmas carol service post is just another glaring example of this ongoing problem. It's a digital reflection of a broader crisis in public perception. Of course, the royal PR machine will try to spin this in their favour, claiming that the event was a success and that engagement metrics don't tell the full story. But the reality is that social media engagement is a critical measure of public interest in today's world. Ignoring it or hiding it doesn't change the underlying truth. William and Kate's carefully curated appearances are failing to generate excitement or genuine attention. The Christmas Carol service might have been a beautiful, festive event behind the scenes, but when no one interacts with the post, the optics fail. The public simply isn't compelled to care, and that's a problem the royals can't Photoshop away. In the end, the flop of this ITV post highlights a larger narrative about William and Kate's diminishing influence in the public eye. While they continue to occupy prominent positions within the monarchy, their social media presence tells a story of disengagement and apathy. Hiding view counts is a temporary fix, a small bandage over a larger wound. The reality is that audiences are moving on, looking for figures who feel authentic, relatable, and inspiring. The festive cheer of a Christmas Carol service is no longer enough to capture attention when the broader perception is that the royals are out of touch. Each failed post is a reminder that traditional royal PR tactics are losing their effectiveness in a modern, digitally connected world. It's almost poetic in a way. The more William and Kate attempt to manufacture public interest, the more obvious it becomes that their efforts are failing. From carefully staged events to meticulously managed social media posts, everything is designed to project warmth, relatability, and relevance. Yet, the numbers don't lie. Disabling engagement metrics may temporarily hide the embarrassment, but it doesn't change the fact that the post flopped. The public has spoken through their lack of interaction, making it clear that these carefully curated appearances are no longer compelling. It's a blunt reminder that relevance cannot be bought or staged. It must be earned through genuine connection and charisma, qualities that are increasingly missing from the Cambridge duo's public image. Even beyond social media, the implications are clear. A lack of engagement online reflects broader challenges in public perception. Royal events that were once considered must-see are now met with apathy. People scroll past, unfazed, leaving the royals to rely on PR maneuvers like hiding metrics to avoid public embarrassment. But in doing so, they inadvertently highlight the failure even more. It's a vicious cycle. The less engagement they receive, the more desperate the attempts to hide it, and the more obvious the disconnect becomes. William and Kate are stuck in a loop of declining relevance, desperately clinging to traditions and appearances that no longer resonate. So, the Christmas Carol service post, meant to showcase community involvement and festive spirit, ends up serving as a digital monument to failure. It exposes the widening gap between the royal image and public interest, showing that carefully staged appearances are no longer enough to capture attention. Hiding view counts may be an attempt at damage control, but it cannot mask the truth. The post flopped, and the public is increasingly indifferent to William and Kate's curated events. The lack of engagement is a stark reminder that relevance in the modern era cannot be forced. It must be authentic, dynamic, and connected to what people genuinely care about. William and Kate, for all their titles and appearances, are struggling to meet that standard. In conclusion, this ITV post is emblematic of the larger struggles facing the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge. The engagement flop, combined with the decision to disable view counts, exposes the widening disconnect between the royals and the public. It's a clear sign that their carefully curated appearances, polished images, and staged events are no longer compelling enough to capture genuine interest. As audiences increasingly seek authenticity, relatability, and excitement, William and Kate's traditional approach feels outdated and out of touch. The Christmas Carol service post is not just a social media failure, it's a reflection of a deeper issue within the royal brand itself, one that cannot be hidden behind metrics or PR spin. It's a flop, plain and simple, and it highlights the urgent need for the royals to adapt to a world where engagement, connection, and authenticity reign supreme.